what we see here in the video. This is what I wanted actually to do with you. So you see here, so if we stop that video, let's stop it. Now, let's talk about it here. So you see here, so in here you have what? You have like the reading part. In the beginning, he needed to scroll that thing down to the end. Why? You need to do this. Why? Now, it is important because you cannot continue the same paragraph until you read the whole thing. So we didn't ask you to read the whole thing. Don't read it. But we said skim it. Skim it to understand what it's talking about. Look, just take 1 minute or 2 minutes. Don't just skim the whole thing. Get to know some details or some other thing. Then after that, you will start solving the thing. Okay, you start solving that part of an exam. Okay, so that's after that. Then he reads the question, then he reads the answer. Then after that, yes, he answers the questions from the thing. He finds the thing in the passage, then I try to answer it. Now, so after answering it, I press on it, and I press next. I press on it, and I press next. Then so on. So, that's how we solve that exam. So it's on a computer. So you'll do that exam on a computer, and you have here, of course, you have what? The timer. So the timer is very important. Why? We said everything is time. Everything is supposed to be time. And when the time is finished, it will shift. It will not wait. It will not give you a warning or something like that. So it will shift to the next phase. So this is the thing. So consume your time in a good way, in a correct way. Be easy with it. Try to find a way of solving things. Now let's go to the end of that video to know what is he actually going to do at the end. Okay, I guess we should watch the whole video. So let's watch the whole video while he's solving that exam. Well,
I would say that is one. Changes in both the weather and the length of day. No, not that one. The star patterns.
He does what?
I would say these three.
So he always what? Navigate between them and try to find the correct thing about it. Find how to put the correct thing from that thing. Okay. So I navigate from that part to that part. So that's the idea. So the idea here is I can go back to the reading part to get to know some things from the reading and other things. But don't get distracted in the information. Don't get distracted in that. You need to solve the things in a fast way. Now let's watch the last minute.
No feedback? Yeah, because polarization, star patterns, and
what did we do? We demonstrated how he managed, yes, to deal with that thing, deal with that program and everything. So we demonstrated that thing. We now know how he deals with the things, how he navigates, how he starts from the beginning, how he starts from the end, and so on. So when I have the piece of passage or something like that, so I try what? I try first to scroll down. That means I've read the whole thing. Then after that, I continue and I answer myself. Okay? Now, that video was showing how to answer a passage. And he took 15 minutes. 15 minutes in one passage. That's good or bad? We said for each passage we use 20 minutes. So he took 15. So that's good. So he's good. Okay? So, but again and again, it's not about solving fast. Meaning, if you solved before the time, you're not going to win anything. So the idea here is to assist your English, not assist your speed. Meaning, if you finished early and you took some time, you have still have some time, you're not getting a bonus. Okay? So this is not a bonus. So you need to consume your time in a good and a correct way. You need to finish your thing. Finish the whole thing. Okay? So, like, finish it in a good way. So take your time, take your 2 minutes in each question and answer that question. Now, I'll ask you a question. If we have for each passage 13 questions, should I take 2 minutes for each? No. Maximum 1.5 minutes. And not always. You know why? Because think about it. 1.5 minutes. So we have 1.5 minutes. That means I'll spend, correct, 20 minutes in all of them. Okay? So spending 20 minutes is not a good thing. Why? Because sometimes at the end, under pressure, I get afraid, 20 minutes, the time is going, and it's all wrong. So train yourself to finish each question in 1 minute. If you spend extra minutes, no problem. But if you don't have time, it will shift to the next read. Now, if I don't understand or if I don't know the thing, if I don't know anything if I don't know that piece of reading, how to solve it, if I don't know how to solve that part or whatever, what should I do? Skip it. Don't waste time on just reading the thing and trying to solve it. You skip it. And as we said, as we have seen in our presentation, how to solve the reading. Now let's try to finish one more piece of reading. Okay? So we will have 50 minutes to finish one more piece of reading. Let's do it. Okay? Let's go next. Okay, we have another piece of reading and we have like a paragraph here. Based on the information in paragraph 1 and paragraph 2, what can be inferred about a person with a score of 30 on SRRS, on the SRRS? So, let's read and let's find out. So the SRRS and similar scales have been used in thousands of studies by researchers all over the world. Overall, these students have shown that people with high scores on the SRRS tend to be more vulnerable to many kinds of physical illness and many types of psychological problems as well. Gates and Combs, 1993, and Bruins, 1993, Scully, Tossi, Bani, 2000. More recently, however, experts have criticized this research, citing problems with methods used and raising questions about meaning of funding, or whatever. First assumption that the SRRS measures the change exclusively has been shown to be inaccurate. We now blah 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 and all of these things. Now, so a person with high score of experience less stress than the person with, well, actually they said here, when we get a high score, we tend to be more vulnerable to many diseases. So it's not correct. Now, let's read number 2. Number 2 here. It is likely that this person has not suffered any major problems in the past year. So with a 30 on SRRS. So 30, is it high or like a small amount of score? It's high. So it is likely that this person has not suffered any major problems in the past year. No, he didn't say that. The amount of positive change is greater than the person with a score of 40. No. This person has a greater probability to be ill than a person with a 20 score. So we said the higher score you get, yes, that's correct. That what he said. Like the higher score you get, that means like you tend to be more vulnerable to many diseases. So it's this person greater probability to get sick. Okay. The word they in the passage refers to they. So let's think about it. They. Let's read the whole sentence. First, the assumption that the SRRS measures the changes exclusively has been shown to be incurred. We now have ample evidence that the desirability of events affects adaptational outcomes more than the amount of change that they require. The amount of change, that means it refers to what? Right. The amount of change that they require, that refers to what? Events. Very much. Now let's go next. The word diverse in the passage is close in the meaning, diverse. Now I know what's the word diverse. Should I answer it? No, I should go through the passage. So I go through the passage here. Thus, it seems prudent to view the SRS as a measure of diverse form of stress, rather than a measure of change related to stress. Diverse. Diversity. Very nice. Different. Okay, let's go next. In paragraph 4, the author uses divorces. Okay, the author uses divorce as an example to show paragraph 4. Let's find divorce. So you have 1 minute to find it. Yes. 50 seconds. 40 seconds. 30. I guess it doesn't mean 1 minute, so yes. So here we have divorce. So while divorce may deserve a stress value of 73 for most people and particular persons, divorce might generate much less stress and merit of value only 25. So he wants to say, use divorce as an example for what? How most people respond to high stress situations in their life. The serious nature of situation that it's listed as a stress event. The subjective importance of situation listed on a scale. Okay. The number value of stress events on SRRS. So which one? Okay. Now, most people respond to higher score situations in their life, respond to high stress situations in their life. He didn't talk about it to discuss the divorce problem. Now, the serious nature of situation that is listed as a stress event. Stress event. Also, it's an information, piece of information, not the thing. Now, the subjective importance of situation listed in this on the scale. Now, that's maybe. Let's go for number 4. The numerical value for stress events on SRRS. So I guess it's C. Correct. Why? Because we said A is not correct. B is not correct. Okay? D is not correct. Okay? Let's go next. Now in paragraph 5, how does the author demonstrate that the response events on the SRRS are not constants? By asking questions that could be answered in more than one way, by giving examples of responses that are confusing, by comparing several ways to score stress scales, by suggesting that people do not respond carefully. Okay, How does the author demonstrate the response events of stress not considered? Many health events listed in SRS. Let's read it. So, by giving examples of responses that are confusing, he didn't give examples to confuse us. This is not correct. By comparing several ways, score and stress rate, nah, that's wrong as well. By suggesting that people do not respond, that's not correct, because he didn't suggest that. So it's A, correct. According to paragraph 7, why is SRRS inappropriate for people with neurosis? What's neurosis? That's disease. You know what's that? No. What's the problem? No problem. When you find a word that you don't know in the exam, so that's not a problem, okay? So the problem here is to understand the general idea or the main idea of the reading itself. So we've solved today like 3 passages, okay? So normally in the normal exam you will have 3 passages like this, questions and answers. So if we're talking about this one here, so we have to read here according to paragraph 7. So they are ill more often, that's the people with narcissus, which affects their score on scale. Their self-reporting on scale is affected by their neurosis. They tend to suffer more stress than people with neurosis. Their response to stress will probably not be recorded on scale. So, 5th, corrections between SRS scores and health outcome may inflict. Okay. Just skills and their self-report of. Yes, there. So here, when he talked about neurosis, he said what? He said that neuroticism, okay, neuroticism affects both their responses to stress. So neuroticism affects their response to stress skills and their self-report. So, and here he said neurotic individuals have tendency to recall more stress than others. So they recall more stress than others and recall more symptoms of illness. Okay, so they are ill more often, which affects their scale. Let's go here. And here recall more symptoms. These tendencies mean that some of the correction between, okay, high stress and high illness may simply reflect an effect of subject neuroticism. The possible concomitant effects that observed meaning score. Okay, so obscure here, the meaning of score. That means the first one is wrong. It tends to suffer more stress than other people without stress. No, that's wrong. And here, their response of stress will probably be not recorded on a scale. No, it will be recorded. So here, yes. The correct one here is what? Yes, self-reporting. I know that sometimes all of these readings are confusing, difficult or confusing. How to solve this problem? By solving a lot. Now, the TOEFL is not just about a course. Anything in the world that needs practice, you need to practice. Like before in the general English, we talked about how to speak like correctly and fluently, and we said that you speak correctly and fluently when you, very nice, when you practice things, when you practice a lot. You need to practice English a lot, okay? To improve yourself, you need to practice English a lot. So to improve your TOEFL skills, you need to solve things a lot, to be ready for anything. By solving things, you understand like how to do things in the future, and the idea of the TOEFL test will be easier to you, okay? Now let's go for the next thing. Now the word example in the passage is close in the meaning to, announced, influenced, arranged, distributed. Let's read it. So, In the light of these problems, a number of researchers have attempted to develop improved versions of SRRS. For example, the Life Experience Survey, LES, assembled by Erwin Sarson and College. Okay, simple. Announced? No. Influenced? We're talking about the improved. Arranged? Maybe. Distributed? Did they talk about distributing between people? No. So it's arranged. Very nice. Let's go next. Arranged. The word relevant. Relevant. So let's read the sentence. By dropping the normative weight and replacing them with personality assigned weighting of impact of relevant events, occasional events, modern events. He was not saying this. It's not about modern or old. Related events. Maybe unusual events. So it's not about unusual. He didn't talk about something like unusual. So it's relate. Right. And relevant is a synonym is to relate. Now, according to paragraph 9, why does the LES ask respondents to classify change as positive or negative? So, specifically, the LES recognizes that the stress involves more change and asks response to indicate whether events had a positive or negative impact on them. Very nice. This strategy permits the computation of positive change, negative change, and total change score. Okay, so to analyze the long-term consequences of change, to determine which aspect of change personal significance. Okay, to explain why some people handle stress better than others, to introduce normative weight of stress. So let's continue the sentence to understand more. So here, and total score, which helps researchers gain much more insight into which facts of stress are most crucial. So determine which, yes, are more important, significant, important. Very nice. Let's go next. Now, according to the passage, which of the following is true about SRRS as compared with LES? The whole passage. Okay. SRRS includes a space to write in personal events that have not been listed. SRRS features the section for specific populations such as students. SRRS assign numbers to calculate the stress associated with events. The SRRS adds into how people recall events and what happened over a year ago. Now, let's right here. Let's read it. We said here until here, so it asks them to add more things. Then he said here, by dropping the normal weight, so SRS helps you to recall events, normal weight, okay, and replace them with personality assignments, weighting of impact, relevance, ambiguity in items is decreased, by providing more elaborate description of many items. The LS deals with failure, and SRS is a sample of full domain of stress events in several ways. So domains to control. So which one? Which one here is related to control? Yes, the SRS assign numbers of calculation stress associated with events. So always, like here, positive and negative. That's what we care for in LES. SRS associated with, very nice, events. Paragraph 1, the author states the author has assigned numerical value. Choice A and B are not correct because they mentioned in paragraph 10. Very nice. In reference to LES. Not the SRS. Choice D is correct because recalling events from 1 year ago is a problem on the SRS. Okay? Which of the following statements most accurately reflect the author's opinions of the SRS? There are many problems associated with it. It's superior to the LES. Okay. It should be studied more carefully. The scale is most useful for students. So, especially LES recognized, whatever. Okay, I give you 1 minute to find it. 1 minute. Choose something that has LES and SRS in one sentence. 30 seconds. Okay. 20 seconds. 10 seconds. Let's start. Now, so he said here something important. The LES deals with the failure of the SRRS to sample the full domain of stressful events in several ways. That means it will give me there are many problems associated with it. Because here, in several ways. First, some significant omissions from the SRRS have been added to the LES. That's one thing they solved. Second, the LES allows the respondents to write personal important events that are not included on the scale. Very nice. So there are many important associated with it. Okay? Okay. Let's go next. Look at the 4 squares and how to put the sentence inside. That's the same thing. So this sum is an index of amount change related to stress the person has recently experienced. Which one should I put this? Where is the paragraph talk about stress? And this sum, that means it's at the end of talking about stress. Sum up. Summarize. Very nice. So the paragraph talk about stress here as a form of stress. The scale is assigned numerically value to the 43 major life or whatever. Until here, the person then add up the number associated with each event checked. This sum up an index of an amount. Yes. So all of these sum up an index of an amount change related to stress and the peak. Very nice. Go next. Okay. Now, 3 options here and 3 options here. Limit events to 43 major life events. So A here, with who? So limit events. Very nice. So which one was talking about events? SRRS. Okay. Calculate sub-scores for negative and positive change. Sub-score, not just the score, sub-score. Very nice, that's LES. Now, let's go next. Must be taken twice in 1 year for reliable score. They didn't say anything about that. Not used. Okay, let's go here. Inappropriate, a space to write in additional events. Okay. I'm so sorry. Inappropriate. I'm so sorry. Incoappropriate. That means they add a space to talk about what? Additional events. What's that? LAS. That's a problem he solved about SRRS. Now E. Provides for subjective. That word. Provides for subjective interpretation of the change. Yes, it provides subjective things, not just like general things. LES, very nice. Now let's go for next. Is no longer being used by psychologists. They didn't mention anything about both, so it's not used. Okay, now let's go next. G. Includes sections for specialized populations. They didn't mention anything about that. Both. Okay, so consists of skill developing in the 1960s. Oh, yes, that's for the SRRS. Assign a standard numerical value to events. I guess that's the missing one, so we put it with SRR. Okay, so limits and consists, assigns, calculates, inappropriate, and provides. Okay. Now, so after this last piece, so that's technically is what? An exam. So today we finished the reading exam. Okay. So reading exam is a very important thing. Now pay attention. Now, as we said before, that we don't read, we skim reading. And we will talk about some tips at the end about like TOEFL and other things, and the tips that's in general with the final exam. Okay? So that will be all for today. So today we took one reading exam and we discussed everything. We've watched some videos that discuss the reading part and everything. So I hope it was useful to you in your practice. And again, practicing things that means you don't have to practice more than one time, again and again and again and again. Solving more than one exam will help you a lot in your actually like mission of achieving your score. And I wish the best for all of you. Thank you very much. This was Ahmed Rakab from the Academic Professional Training. Thank you very much. I'll see you soon, inshallah, in other sessions in the TOEFL preparation. I wish the best for you all, and I wish you all get the score that you want. Okay? Thank you. Thanks for it.